Gaming news today is all about exciting rumors with a dash of ongoing conflict. First, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake has new information from a reliable source, but some of the changes to the game, as well as the release timing, is going to leave some fans disappointed. Second, Battlefield 6's Battle Royale had its release date leaked, and for those looking to dive into Battlefield 6 Day 1, you will not have to wait very long to dive into the BR mode. Third, Borderlands 4 is boasting a very strong number since its release date, but Randy Pitchford seems dead set on being a big distraction with his insistence on spreading negativity, fighting with people on Twitter, acting like there aren't significant issues with the game's performance and optimization. The question's now becoming less about when will Borderlands 4 be fixed and more about when will Randy finally decide to stop talking. I didn't want to make a video about that. I know a lot of people are throwing his face up on a thumbnail and obviously giving him some just criticism. I did want to have a discussion about it. I don't necessarily like making videos like that, but I do think it is worthy of mention. I think he sort of went from being sort of frank and honest with people to just being combative and unhelpful. Also, acting as if the game is running completely fine, telling people before the game came out that it was running buttery smooth on consoles. It's not. There's a known memory leak issue. There's known performance issues, stuttering, frame rate. I mean, there's all sorts of things going on with this game. And if you need a rig at the level of mine with a 5070 Ti just to sort of like glide over these problems, and even still I had to turn some settings down, which for a game like Borderlands, I probably shouldn't have had to do that. It's just unfortunate because the game is doing well. Player numbers on Steam consistently look good. I'm having a great time. It's climbing the ladder as being my favorite Borderlands. My wife and I are playing it like every night. We're having to kind of like call it a night every night. Like, we can't keep going. We can't keep going. We're having fun. We haven't had this level of fun with the Borderlands since probably Borderlands 2. And yet he's in a position where he just thinks that he has to do this. And I think it's really, really unfortunate. I think it's creating a bit of a shadow over the game. I think it's disrespectful to the franchise. I think it's disrespectful to the studio that worked really hard on this game for him to continue to do this. So hopefully he can see the light, but that's probably unlikely. Now, I'm going to use timestamps to get into this stuff later. Well, we'll look at the AC Black Flag stuff, the Battlefield stuff, the Borderlands stuff. So look for those timestamps. If they're not there, just bark at me in the comments. I'm trying to be quick about that. Some days we go right into gameplay, and it's hard for me to do that because I'm in a next stream playing. So just, bark at me if that is indeed happening, if like the timestamps aren't there. We are probably going to take a break from Borderlands gameplay today. I need to work on a pretty big video that I want to get done about Ghost of Tsushima. We want to get that created and ready before Yote comes out. So hoping to have that ready for next week if I can get everything recorded this week. That should give us plenty of time to put it all together. So there will not be any of that gameplay today. If you want to continue to support ongoing gameplay on the channel, let us know. Leave comments that you like it. Let us know if there's particular ways we should handle gameplay, because that has been something that we've wanted to do, but it is difficult given that most of you sub to the channel for the talk show and not for ongoing gameplay. So make sure right now, if you're in the live environment or watching later, hit the like button and help us with a big goal. We're trying to get 600 people at Member Plus. So click join and pick the $6 member tier. And you guys using your primes and stuff over on Twitch is also helpful. I've got some people to thank already. We're going to have a fancy, fun new goal thing down here very soon. The creature's working on for me, but I'm going to add these ones in now. Michael C. Was the first to renew, and then Han shot first, and so did you, Joker Quinn, with the first gifted sub of the day. Oh, and those alert images should be behind the goal. Hang on a second. Let me do that. I need to move things around here. There we go. Those should be popping out behind the goal. So thank you guys so much for doing that. And then Hex renews his VIP, and then gifts a 5-bomb. Thank you so much. So that's 8 members already coming in from Team Red. We appreciate it so much. It's going to be 8-6 because Rare Killer just renewed over there on Purple. Thank you so much for doing that. 37 months from Rare Killer. I appreciate that so much. If you guys are enjoying the content, get that like button pressed. Get that like count up there very, very quickly. My wife just came in. I was wondering, I was like, man, why is the printer spinning up? And I remembered that we got a printer that she can, yeah. That's right. It can print from Bluetooth. This is correct. It's my wedding anniversary today. Apart from I can't celebrate, just glad to be watching the stream. Well, thank you so much, Lady Gamer, for being here. Hopefully, we can get through the day. Back on YouTube. Welcome back, Rare Killer. No. My only daughter turned 18 today, says Hex. Please wish her a happy birthday. Her name is Athena. Well, that's a strong name. So I'm assuming, being that it's your kid, Hex, they're pretty strong. So hopefully they have a good birthday, and hopefully they celebrate it well with you and anybody else that's around. Appreciate you, Hex. If the state of play is tomorrow, surely they'll announce it today. The state of play is not tomorrow. As far as we know, the PlayStation State of Play is going to be next week, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. 25 months from I don't even know what that says. Insilked? Anyway, all Borderlands games have always supported a higher field of view, but Borderlands 4 is the first Borderlands that doesn't support anything of this kind of feature. Well, it supports it. It supports it on PC, but it doesn't support it on console. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the issue is. Thank you, Deech, for the raid over here on Purple. I appreciate that. Yeah, the current rumors is that the state of play will be next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. They'll announce it like Monday, is what people are saying. She's always listening to the show with me on our way to her school. She's all smiles now, and she says, thank you. Well, you are welcome. It is a cool name, by the way. So, I mean, come on. I'm Capo with 18 months. Welcome back. A year and a half. Appreciate you so much. The next milestone being 225. You guys are inching ever closer to it. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it very, very much. There's a lot going on too, you know, with these rumors about AC Black Flag, and you know, it's going to be a bit of a departure from what the game originally was. There's obviously a lot of people that are upset about that. More from Team Asobi would be awesome. I think it's a little bit early to hear from Team Asobi. They've been consistently adding stuff to Astrobot, but if we get a sequel to Astrobot, I would imagine that they would target PS. I feel like they would target PS6 for that. So that's just kind of my gut instinct on it. Lower limits to rendering. I think the issue with Borderlands performance is everything they did with the lighting. That's what I think. I think they just did too much with the lighting. I think that they baked it into the ground level of the game, and it like makes it very difficult for the game to run well everywhere. You know? You saw Neil Druckmann change his bio to soon intergalactic. Yeah, he did say, though, in the interview with Variety that they don't have anything to show right now. At least it seemed like that way. The Borderlands Randy Pitchford saga has got to be one of the most interesting and modern games, where it's a game people seem to enjoy, and have a studio face calling you stupid and saying things are just fine have certainly been quite a turn. It's like a Twitter argument personified. It's the weirdest thing, Wheeze. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, when he said a couple of things before the game came out, I was kind of in his corner, because I was like, gamers are sick of PR. They're sick of corporate doublespeak. This guy's just talking to you right from the heart, and he's not trying to mince his words. And then the game came out, and now I'm like, okay, now you're not being honest or helpful. You're, number one, I feel like he's saying things that don't accurately represent the situation at all. And secondly, he's just being combative and like childish. It's like, it's one thing to be like, hey, if your PC's lower than min specs, don't expect the game to run well. That's great. Yes, speak that frank about that. Once the game is out and there are demonstrable problems with your game, own it, fix it, and move on. Like, we don't need to do, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you think you're going to achieve? Like, that's what I would ask him right now if I had him on here as a podcast. I'd be like, what exactly do you think you're going to achieve when you're doing this on Twitter? Do you think you're going to convince anybody? Do you think you're going to win anybody over? Do you think you're gonna get anybody to go change their score? They're gonna be like, you know what? You're right. No. Like, whatever you think your goal is, there's no way you could honestly think you're achieving it, especially on Twitter of all places. I wish I had friends that worked in Gearbox to leak some details, because this has been fascinating, just actively antagonizing people who are like, hey, I like this game. Well, and then he gets unhinged haters to send him awful messages, and then he puts those up on his feed. I'm like, brother, what are you doing? Even a 2-day-old content creator knows that, like, what are you going to play the victim? Like, yeah, there's unhinged morons on the internet that sent you mean words. I mean, get the frick over it, bro. Like, if I screenshotted every mean message, every mean comment, every DM I've ever had, that's all my timeline would be. You know what I mean? Man said he was fielding customer service calls himself. He's getting free marketing. He's played everyone. I don't know if this is the marketing that you want, though. I don't know. We've been talking about him for a week. He won. It's Chowo with 8 months. Hit that like button. Cheers to 8 months. Have a great show, Lono. I don't agree with that, Eugene, because I argued the other day that if you want the Borderlands 4 review score on Steam to improve, you're burning any goodwill or any bridge that you have with the people that might do that. The people that might do that are going to be the most involved, the most the most willing to commentate and get on Twitter. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Get us to the first 100. No one's buying a game because of this. Not all publicity is good publicity, says Wheezy. Being a lol cow doesn't make you money. Yeah, you needed the people on PC to say, hey, Randy, I appreciate that. Thank you. And then they fix it, and then they'd go and change their score. Right now, you're just creating enemies. Stonespire renews a VIP Plus, says, here's 29 months in the best gaming community ever. Thank you for 29 months and a gifted. Look at Stonespire. Just going to top off everything all on his own. A 225. I owe YouTube a single gifted member. Thank you so much. Next milestone is 250. If all publicity was good, then DSP would be the richest man in the history of mankind. Well, certainly, and I think that there are people that lean into it for sure, and I think there are times where Phil leans into it. I think all content creators that find themselves on that side of things sort of face a choice, right? This is why I started moving away from certain topics and certain conversations, because I felt like I was just feeding a very disingenuous machine, right? And so in this situation, I think the problem is that Randy won't feel the pain. You know what I mean? Randy's not going to feel the pain from this. If the Steam numbers don't improve, like the review number doesn't improve, and the future sales of the game aren't as strong, he's probably totally fine in his position. It's like they're not going to oust him. The game has been so financially successful, I don't think they have to worry. Now, the score seemingly has slipped on PC. It was like a 67. It felt like it was on its way to being 70%. It's at a 65 now. It's at a 65%. I'm telling you. Okay. The furnace got replaced, and it is so much stronger than our older furnace. Like, I'm having to adjust. Like, there were vents in our house that you would go up to and put your hand against the vent, and you could barely feel the air coming out. Now the furthest vent in the house is in the kitchen, and you can have your hand a foot away from it and feel a strong blast of air. So we were definitely on a furnace and a blower unit that was on its way out. It was on its way out, dude. It was 20 years old. So successfully got that replaced yesterday. Very, very thankful that I found somebody that did it. He used to do it all the time, and he retired. And so it was very kind of him to do that. Randy is getting farmed for engagement and hurting public perception of the game in the process. He needs to step away from this immediately. He's taken focus from the performance issues and redirected them to him, and when it gets fixed, people will forget it all. I mean, I don't know, Eugene. If you think, listen, when he engaged the $80 topic, I think that was intentional. I do. I think he knew, I'm going to get people angry. I'm going to stir up headlines about this, and then I'm going to be able to go to the publisher and say, don't do this, right? Now, when he said the whole real fans thing, I don't think that was a 900 IQ play. I think the 900 IQ play was, I'm going to engage people in this topic because it's going to tick them off that it's even possible, okay? I do. I think he knew what he was doing when he did that. Right now, I don't think that's the intention. I don't think he's like, well, I'll become the villain. No one will really be thinking about the game anymore. And if I become the villain, then that's all anybody's going to focus on. And then the game can slowly get fixed, and then people will forget. This is very much in line with things he's done in the past. He did this when the movie bombed. When the Borderlands movie did poorly, he did the same thing. He got very antagonistic, and he got very nasty on Twitter. This is par for the course for him. He was like blocking big content creators, longtime Borderlands fans, about the movie. It wasn't like they got into a tiff and like they insulted him or something. Like, he was out there taking it personal and being whatever about the movie. And the reason that I'm being hard on him is because I was kind of in his corner when they first started talking Borderlands, and they did that thing at PAX, and they did the panel. And you guys remember, I told you, I said, I've watched this guy for a very, very long time, and the way he's talking about Borderlands 4, they delivered. Like, I was confident in the game because of how Randy was talking about it. And I was like, this is good. If they can turn this corner and he talks about the game in a more genuine way, and then they deliver, that's great. That's what the franchise needs. Unfortunately, they did build a great Borderlands. It's just not optimized. So people have legitimate complaints, legitimate concerns, and he's treating those legitimate concerns and complaints in a way that is extremely counterproductive. So instead of talking about like, oh, look at how many people are playing, look at how successful Borderlands 4 has been, we're all talking about the fact that it runs, bad and has performance issues. He's been caught sending himself hate mail. Has he really? When did he get caught doing that? Yo, what's good, Mike on the mic? Why the heck no PS5 Pro for BL4? I would much rather them not do PS5 Pro enhancements if they can't do it right. On X, check his screenshot. What do you mean? How do you know he sent it to himself? What evidence is it that he sent himself? He has an email screenshot. It's from the sender's viewpoint. You can't be serious. No. There's no way. So if I open an email, it doesn't look like this. If I open an email right now, no, that's what it would look like if it was sent to him. That's how my email looks right now. I open an email on my phone. Right up here is who it's from. 2, it has my name, and then it has the timestamp over here. This is exactly what it looks like when you open up an email sent to you. This is not from the sender's perspective. Unless there's another one that you're talking about. I mean, there was this tweet here. He said, this sounds like a reasonable, well-adjusted individual. Yeah, that's not from the sender's perspective. Listen, I am at... Let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. Let me make my opinion very well known here. This right here is petulant and childish. Like, he should not be doing this. You're the CEO of a major developer, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous to even be posting these messages. When he retweeted this one and he said, this sounds like a reasonable, well-adjusted individual, this is the height of childish and unprofessional behavior. You should not be doing this. Like, why are you showing my emails on stream? That's private between Randy and I. So let me be clear. I'm not even remotely defending him showing the email. I'm just saying that's not from the sender's perspective. Somebody seemingly did send that to him. Right? That was Hilly, wasn't it? That was Hilly, Zubair. Hilly, Zuby knows your Zub knows your sense of humor. That's good. That's good. If you guys are just tuning in, man, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Like, I think it was, is it Legacy that did it? I think Legacy Killa put like together a whole, yeah. Is this it? Oh no, he feels like he found Randy's burner account. Hang on, that's not, that's not the tweet. That's not the tweet. Yeah, like Legacy Killa is like documenting it here. He's like, last night Randy Pitchford once again crashed out over Borderlands 4 criticism. He rejected comparisons made to Cyberpunk 2077 and Battlefield 6, tried making a joke when Notch called him out, acted as customer service rep with nonsensical advice, and argued with fans. Now, there was another one that somebody found where, yeah, this is the one that I think was really worth highlighting. This one actually makes me more angry than him being combative. You want to be combative and you want to like be in a spat on Twitter. That's not upsetting to me. I just am going to call that what it is. That's really unproductive and really unprofessional. This right here, though, I have an issue with, because this is, you guys know what I always take issue with. If you mislead the public, I have a serious problem with that. That is always going to raise my hackles a whole lot more. You want to be combative and you want to be all whatever on Twitter, I'm not going to get angry about that. I'm going to call it what it is. It's dumb. Right? PS5 and Series X are buttery smooth. Series S is good too. He didn't lie, though. It's buttery smooth at lower FPS. It's not buttery smooth. There are known issues and stutters and hitches. There's a freaking memory leak. That 100% is a fake email. All trolls know how to spell "you-are." Buttery smooth 40 FPS. It runs well for about 2 hours, then you got to restart. Yeah, he left out the most important part. He left out the most important part. That you just have to turn it off every once in a while and restart it. That's all you got to do. It's not that difficult. Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Christmas. Runs well at 2 FPS, yeah. I don't think they tested literally anything. Even a single thing. I mean, they definitely tested things. Come on, the game is pretty huge. Like, the amount of content that I've engaged with, and I've barely moved the story forward. I mean, there is a ton of content in this game. The combat runs really well. The enemies are fun. The boss fights are fun. I've only had, like, one loot drop glitch where, like, a boss just, like, genuinely didn't drop anything. We're not really sure what happened. But by and large, I have had a fairly good experience. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, by and large, I have had a very good experience outside of some of the performance issues. Thank you for the super chat, sold at. The option to get a wider field of view in FPSs for me is an industry standard that all devs that make FPSs should allow. Like Borderlands 4 should be seen as deeply established franchise. Know this. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like, if you're not going to give me an FOV slider, at least give me more FOV than Borderlands 4 is currently giving on console. Borderlands 4 currently on console is, well, it's something. It's got to be one of the most shallow, it's got to be one of the most shallow FOVs I think I've ever seen in a new, like, modern shooter. His date of birth is 1971. Maybe it is his email. I don't know. This wasn't a lack of skill thing. This was a poor choices thing. We didn't need this level of ray tracing, global illumination, and shadows in a game like this. Everything gets a cartoon filter and weird textures. Yeah, I think the lighting is the biggest culprit in the room. Yeah, I think the lighting is the biggest culprit in the room because, again, the way I look at it, every single thing that in the game that I'm looking at, every single thing that I'm setting my eyes on has got like a shadow and like a reflective surface. I just think, what are you doing? Why? It is pretty. Like, I will admit that is a pretty looking game. Like, it's one of the best looking Borderlands. It is. It is the best looking Borderlands that I have ever played. It is. But I don't know. It's full diminishing returns for this art style. Today I learned this is Robert Redford. Yeah, people thought, I don't know if any people thought it was Zach Galifianakis. It's obviously old footage. Oh, you're fine. You don't listen. If there's one thing that you don't have to do is apologize the number of times you have. I've been here before, and when someone keeps insisting on coming back and bringing it up and apologizing, let that be the last time you do it. We don't need to discuss it for another second. Borderlands 4 versus Borderlands 3 versus Borderlands 2. We have a graphic comparison from 4 days ago. So, I think this is worth looking at. I do. I think this is worth looking at. So, I'm going to put myself down here in the corner here. So, this is BL2. Let me get the member count off screen. There we go. Yeah, BL2 has, I thought, always had a good look. I don't think anything in BL2 looked bad. Sliding was added in Borderlands 3. Yeah, so this is BL3. Their overlay was incorrect. And this is BL4. And I'll admit, I think one of the first things to point out here is the areas having like actual lush look and grass and plant life and stuff, and the dirt road having like more texture, right? I think this is a huge uptick. And then if you look at the gun and the lighting and the reflective properties on the gun, I actually think this is fantastic. I think this is the best looking Borderlands to date. But the issue is the culprit in the room. It 100% is the lighting. The lighting is why this game has issues with performance. Because I will never say that Borderlands 4 doesn't look good. It looks really, really good. That's not the issue. The issue is you guys should have had ways to turn this stuff off to prioritize performance. That's what I think. I think they should have had ways to turn off the lighting elements to prioritize performance, because even if you lowered some of the lighting and some of the global illumination in some of the sections of BL4, I think it would still look very good. If it looked like BL3, but we had 3 times the FPS, I think PC players would be happier with the new gameplay mechanics. Yeah. BL4 just doesn't look very clear. Hang on a second. Maybe it's a contrast and texture that is an issue more than the graphics choice. I do think there are times where the lighting kind of washes things out, but by and large, I feel like the lighting and the colors look quite good in Borderlands 4. I don't think that I've walked into an area yet and been like, oh, this looks bad. I don't think I've had that happen once. I've never walked into an area in BL4 and thought it didn't look very good. I think it all looks very good. I think the issue continues to be, and this I think is the issue, that they baked the lighting system into everything. So it's like it doesn't matter where you go or what you're doing. The lighting is sitting there just making things really, really heavy. That's what it comes down to. If they gave you the option on console especially to turn that stuff off and just run with a more basic lighting system and then prioritize FPS, maybe even that would unlock an FOV slider. You know? There's no alternative to Lumen. You have to use Lumen. But there are certainly games up to now that shut all that stuff off. They shut off all the ray tracing if you don't want it. If you just want to run a performance mode without ray tracing, and then there's fidelity, and then there's fidelity ray tracing, you know what I mean? Moore's Law is Dead had a dev on this week, and he thinks it renders super realistic, and then they put a cell shader filter on top. I don't think it's a cell-shaded game, though. Cell shading is very, very different than what they're doing. They didn't give us the option to turn it off, and they should have. Oh, I see what you're saying, Zubair. Like, imagine Hellblade, but then put a Borderlands 4 filter on top. That wouldn't make any sense. I don't understand why they would render realistic and then cell shade over top. Definitely look cell shady-ish. It's always looked this way, like the textures and the hard black outlines. It's supposed to look like a comic book. Eugene says that dev doesn't know anything if they believe that. Wired Rope says it's a filter. Has anybody been able to prove that it's a filter? Because I feel like you'd be able to prove that very easily. The game's on PC. I feel like somebody would have chopped up the game by now and figured out a way to prove that. It's like it amplifies edges and it uses specific textures. Yeah, I don't think it's a cell-shaded game. I don't think so. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I pause the thing that nobody likes. If you're enjoying the content, hit subscribe, hit the bell button. We greatly appreciate the continued support of the channel. If you subscribe, it enables you to talk in the chat. If you hit like, it helps more people find the show. Breath of the Wild is also a filter to give it that look. Really? Zelda Breath of the Wild has a filter like actively running to make it look like that? I don't think I ever realized that. Oh, my camera's not working. That has happened before. Isn't that interesting how I was able to do that? Isn't that interesting? Let's see. Cam source. Deactivate. Activate. There we go. It's like I swear I fixed that. Like the USB port goes dormant or something, and then you got to like deactivate and reactivate the source in OBS. They call it the Lono filter at Nintendo. Oh, really? They do. What happened to the Dying Light reviews? It releases tomorrow. Dying Light, the Beast? I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention to it. I'm not really a fan of those types of games. Outside the optimization, the main other criticism I saw was around the characters and story being bland, uninspired, or dull, but at least not cringy like Borderlands 3. Do you think that's a fair critique? Okay, so I'm not far enough in the story to comment much. I would say that the story is fine. Like, I didn't come to Borderlands 4 expecting a certain level of like gravitas or seriousness, or does that make sense? Like, I didn't expect that. I just expected like a pretty serviceable story. Basically, Borderlands is you're a vault hunter, there's a big bad, stop the big bad and get a ton of loot along the way. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know what kind of a story people were hoping for. I'm not really sure. Like, okay, so anytime you do a critique, it's usually against the backdrop of an ideal. What do they think the ideal story would have been? Like, yes, Handsome Jack was an interesting antagonist, but the story was pretty basic. The story was pretty basic. It was like, there's a big bad. He tried to kill you, and you're going to try and stop him. Because he's using Hyperion to do bad stuff, and you're going to try and stop him, and you're going to get loot along the way. That's pretty much it. Bro Sexy with 39 months says, maybe by the time I'm done with Chronos, Abiotic Factor, Ghosts of Yote, and Silent Hill F, Borderlands 4 will be optimized and worth picking up. Worst case, holiday sale, 39 months. Count it. I'm counting it. Story is fine so far. The characters have personality without being cringe like the Calypsos. Every villain is living in the shadow of Handsome Jack. I mean, generally speaking, that's true. And I don't necessarily even think Handsome Jack was like this. He's not like this insurmountable force of, what are you saying? 230 are the examples of how it's cell shaded? Are you sure this isn't somebody doing something fancy? So you're telling me that Zelda Breath of the Wild, he looks like that? And then they run a filter over top? So in this video, they've just like removed the filter? So you're thinking that they did this. Are you sure that's not somebody goofing around? Brother, says Wheezy. Yeah, I don't think this is real. I don't think that the game actually looks like that. What would Breath of the Wild look like without cell shading? In this video, I'm going to show you all the ways he could look. Yeah, that's just like a pet project that some guy did. That's not what Breath of the Wild looks like under the hood, man. You are seeing raw models. That is someone changing the shaders on PC. It is with the official game. So the official Zelda beneath all of that, that's what Link looked like. But it's not a filter. Wasn't there a magical hole in the wall to see him that way? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's doing that. That's not how the game is. Listen, I don't think that's what's going on with Borderlands. I do not think Borderlands 4 has some cell-shaded something going on. Dr. Pimp with 31 months on a gift. Remember two things. One, like you said before, a game can look great, but if it runs like crap, what's the point? Much love and glad to be here. Thank you guys so much. 31 months on a gifted member. That is a sign of generosity here in the community. Somebody earlier had a 25-month gifted membership. That is crazy to think that people have been able to do that for you all this time. If you guys are ever able and in the position, we've been wanting to get folks to jump into the Member Plus bucket and not stay on gifted if you can. Almost 3 years on a gifted is such a sign of generosity here in this community. Cell shading is a very specific technique. Comic book graphics do not equal cell shading. Not 60 FPS on consoles in 2025 is no good. The dev on Moore's Law is dead was just saying UE5 is really good for realism, and for it to run that heavy without being realistic, he thinks it's a filter. I'm not a dev, And I think that they're wrong. I don't think it's a filter. I think it's the lighting. I genuinely think it's the lighting. I don't think it's some filter that's causing the game to run slowly. I think they turned lighting on. The lighting is baked into Borderlands. It's like Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights baked the lighting into the game, and you can't turn it off. And Gotham Knights launched with frame rate issues. It was like 30 FPS on consoles. So I don't think that theory holds. It doesn't hold any water at all. It's like, for them to do that with their game would be one of the most bizarre decisions I think you could ever make about a game. Well, we're gonna render the game realistic, and then throw a filter over top. It's processing is probably right way to say it, like El Duderino said. They're using post-processing to gain the effects they want. This is how technology works. I thought they said it was the tethering. The Gotham Knights developers are liars. I don't trust anything they say. They're liars. They lied about their game. They kept the 30 FPS thing a secret, and then they blamed 30 FPS on the co-op. They're liars. That's not why that game ran the way that it ran. It had nothing to do with untethered co-op. That was a red herring to distract from the fact that they built a game that degraded over time, and they baked the lighting system into the game. They're dishonest. As soon as somebody asked about 60 FPS, they were timed out in their Discord. They're not to be trusted. They lied about their game, and they tried to keep people in the dark about the fact that it wasn't going to be 60 FPS. People talk about boycotting games. You should boycott a game when the devs lie to you. Like, that's what you should do. Like, if they're not going to tell you the truth about the dadgum game and blow some smoke about untethered co-op. It was that entire situation was ridiculous. And the fact that people came to the defense of that game and tried to claim that it was the consoles and that we were headed back to 30 FPS gaming, all the people that said that turned out to be egregiously wrong. Like, egregiously wrong. We did not head back to 30 FPS gaming, and it was not the console's fault. It was the dadgum game. Just like right now. It's nobody's PC's fault, unless you're on like a really, really old PC, sure. But for the most part, it's nobody's PC's fault, and it's not the console's fault. This is not an issue of older hardware. Hey, Dr. Pimp just upgraded. That's what we want to see. That's worth $227. The member battle heats up as somebody bumps to member plus. We are trying to get 600 people at member plus. We're at 500. We've been trying to get people to 600 member plus for 3 years. Never mind, I can do it on mobile. YouTube has definitely not made it easy to upgrade. I know a lot of you have tried, and it's like they make it really difficult, and they haven't fixed it. I don't know what their issue is. But hey, I can now duplicate a stream and send you to members. Gifted member comes in from Joker Quinn. Thank you so much. And if you only want to see half my content, just turn on restricted mode. Thanks, YouTube. Don't make it easy for people to upgrade. Oh my gosh. At the very least, most multiplayer games are 60. 30 frames is atrocious for any type of game. Well, that trend did not happen. It didn't. That trend did not happen. People said, oh, we're heading to 30 FPS games again. Instead of just admitting that the issue was Gotham Knights. The issue was Gotham Knights. The issue was not that, oh, we're headed back to 30 FPS games. The heck we are. These consoles just aren't as strong as we thought. Yeah, because one game started that dialogue with people. Freaking Gotham Knights. Ghost score Metacritic prediction? Oh, I don't know. High 80s. We didn't go back, which is more than I can say about some other things lately. This is true. And a gifted member comes in from Stonespire. Listen. Get ready. Do not let Don't let Stone Spire's setup get ruined here. He's begging for a 20 bomb. If you're going to gift a 20 bomb, if you've been thinking about doing it, get ready to do it. Because Joker Quinn's going to ruin this. He is going to ruin this. All right? Stone Spire's going to do a single to 230. And he wants to see that 20 bomb to 250. All right? It's a perfect setup. Thank you so much, Stone Spire. Do not let Joker Quinn ruin this. He'll do it. He's so rude. See, I told you. That's why he changed his avatar. That's why he changed his avatar. He's so stinking rude. He's the rudest there is. He bumps the line to 231. There it is. It's an ongoing fight. It's an ongoing fight. You think 89, 88 to 90? Yeah, I think high 80s. I don't know if Yote is going to be able to hold on to a 90. I think it's going to be really hard to hold on to a 90 because there's going to be a lot of devs that are like, it's just more Ghost. And they'll give it like a 7.5 or an 8. And that'll just pull the score down away from the 90. You know. That's what I'm anticipating. High 80s. What's everyone's thoughts on RE9? I think it looks great. Console should be 60 FPS on all games. A decade ago, 120 should be the console norm now. Maybe a hot take. I wouldn't call that a hot take. I would just call that like not really in line with reality. I don't think the hardware's been where you think it's been. Like if you think that like previous gen should have been 60, the hardware wasn't really there. And the hardware's not really there right now to support a flat 120 in all games. Like, I feel like what you're saying is out of touch with the hardware that you're purchasing. Like, when you buy, like, a Series X or, like, a PS5, the hardware's just not there. It's like you're not buying a box that can do 120 in every game. 120 is possible, but that would mean the developers would have to make significant changes and sacrifices to get you there. So you're basically buying boxes that I think are very capable of doing consistent 60 FPS as long as they're well-optimized games. And plenty of games prove this. Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, these are gorgeous-looking games that are running at 60. Pushing 120, I just think, I don't think that's just not what these consoles are built for, if you look at the hardware that's in them. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I am doing my best to not have the stream disrupted by a little bout that I'm having with some allergies right now. $5 super chat from Mark. I don't like BR modes, but I really enjoyed it in BF Labs. I was very surprised. Yep, that's another thing in the news. Battlefield 6 Battle Royale is going to land shortly after the release. Thank you for that super chat, Mark. I didn't set the super chat goal. I keep forgetting to do that. Every 5 super chats, I will gift a member. There we go. Maybe GT7. Outages are the worst. Thank you, Dark Taco, for 35 months. I feel fine. It's just like at random. I'm like, oh my gosh. Gotta like blow my nose. People that do that in public, man, I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. We do Dying Light gameplay tomorrow? No. I have zero interest in that game. I do not like those games. Like, I'm bored watching the trailer. I know people are really excited, and good for you. Good for you. Dying Light as a franchise, like they've done cool things, and they've been, very generous to their community, but I have like zero interest in that game. Like, I watch the trailer, I just get bored. I played so much Dying Light, and I played so much Dead Island. I don't think I have an inch of my brain ever wants to go back into those types of games ever again.
Yeah, I'll play Battlefield 6 campaign. I don't really have an interest in Arc Raiders either. I don't like extraction games. Like, the Battlefield 6 campaign, I think is going to be a blast. But, Arc Raiders, like, I played it, and I had fun, but, like, I don't want to play a PvP extraction shooter. It's just not my jam, you know? You gonna play Dying Light the Beast? They just asked me that. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna play it. I'd have zero desire to touch that game. There's no reason for me to play it. Like, if you want to see somebody play that game, I am not the person. You gonna play Silent Hill F? No. Also, another game I have zero interest in. I played the Silent Hill 2 remake. I do not like those kinds of games. I think they're boring. Yeah, I don't think Arc Raiders is DOA. I think Arc Raiders is going to be very successful. I just don't have any desire to play it. I think Arc Raiders is going to be very successful. Am I excited for Wolverine? I'm excited to see Wolverine. Yeah. Not a zombie fan? No. I'm okay, so Dying Light has two things working against it. From my perspective, it has two things working against it. Number one, zombie game. Number two, it's like first-person melee. I can't stand first-person melee. It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely crazy. I have zero desire to do it. You just got here? I mean, they literally asked me 30 seconds before you did, so that was just really unlucky timing. Like, they had just asked me about it. What's your take on the Ghost of Yote hate? I think people are addicted to hate, and they just need a reason. I think it's unfounded, and I think it's being propagated and pushed forward by people that are bad faith and dishonest. So, I think the game will do just fine. Just like Assassin's Creed Shadows was just fine. I mean, did you see some of the insane dislike ratios on the AC Shadows videos? I mean, it was insane what people were doing. And then the game is like second most commercially successful Assassin's Creed. It's like one of the top selling games of the year. Yeah. The director ruined the success. It wasn't a director, it was an artist, and that's not true. It completely buried Marathon. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at extraction shooters, I think Arc Raiders it's very highly probable that it'll be successful. I think there's almost no probability of success for Marathon. Like, yeah. I think there's like no probability of success for Marathon. I think that Arc Raiders is very high chance of being successful. Sworn's already on my wish list. It's a Hades clone, isn't it? It's a co-op Hades clone. I'm pretty sure Sworn is a co-op Hades clone, is it not? You can play it with other people, can't you? September 25th. Yeah, so same day as the action roguelike 1 to 4 player. Yeah. I told you that was going to happen, y'all. Like, I told you that was going to happen. I said, as soon as Borderlands 4 was out and Madam and I were playing Borderlands, all these co-op games were going to come out. I told y'all that was going to happen. I told y'all. What's your opinion on the Fatal Frame remake? Is it a W for survival horror fans? I don't even know what that is. Listen, I'm not a survival horror guy. I'm not a survival horror guy. So I don't even know what game you're talking about. I'm telling all my friends about Marathon if it comes out. We like FPS. I mean, good luck. I don't think that game has a chance. I think that game's going to crash and burn. Madam is playing as Vex, and I am playing as Rafa. Our Borderlands 4 gameplay sessions have been great. We are taking our time. Listen, we were going to attempt to do a lot of Borderlands 4 gameplay and like make content with it. I don't think I can. I'm having too much fun. I'm not going to rush the game. I'm not going to rush the game for content. I'm going to take my time and enjoy it, and I think that's terrible content. If you want my honest opinion, I was thinking about it this morning, and my second day doing that with you guys, I was like, this is terrible content. I think it's awful content. Who wants to watch that? Who wants to watch some guy play solo and slowly clear a map in Borderlands? Like, nobody. There's zero reason to make that content. It's boring. My time is far better spent either hanging out with you guys and talking or working on a video like this Ghost of Tsushima video. I have limited time. And I am having so much fun in Borderlands that it's terrible content. Like, it's bad. It's like I'm playing with Madam, and every night I'm like, babe, we're going to get the campaign. I promise. And then we don't. And then we don't. You know what I mean? It's like, that is bad content. Like, that is not good content. Watching somebody, like, slowly clear the map. You know what I mean? Your priorities are effed up, dude. You should be playing in the way that's best for content. You're selfish. Here's the thing. If somebody's looking for like build guides, endgame critique, there are people that have already got there. Like I'm not going to make those videos. Number one, I don't like making those videos. Number two, I'm not going to rush a game so that I can do that. I'm going to take my time. Maybe play the campaign on stream. I can't do that. I cannot boot up the game in Beeline. I don't want to. I won't enjoy it if I do that. I don't know how people do the campaign and skip the other stuff. That's what I'm saying. I look at that map and I'm like, let's go. There's content locked behind the main quest, just FYI. Oh, I know. I'm having a great time. I have waited a really, really long time for Borderlands 4. I'm not rushing. I'm not going to do it. And if there's one thing that's been proven to me over the years, it's that me doing gameplay is a pretty significant waste of time. Like, if it's got a particular POV, like when we did From Fridays, or if it's the launch date, it's worth doing. Doing 20 streams of me slowly playing through Borderlands 4 is a waste of time. Like, what, you guys hanging out with me and Madam on a Friday night? Sure. Playing with my wife on the couch? Sure. I'm doing that for fun. I think streaming it is a complete and utter waste of time. It's like we're not doing anything. I'm slowly clearing the map. Same for me in Ghost of Tsushima. I got sidetracked doing all the other stuff other than the main story. Oh, yeah, the map in Tsushima will 100% do that to you. Guys, really quickly, if you haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead and do that for me. I'm going to pause the thing that nobody likes. The same people telling you to rush through the game will be the same people in a week telling you that there's nothing to play. That's what I'm saying, dude. I rushed God of War Ragnarok, and I felt like I ruined the fun of it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to be a mainstay. It's just never going to be a mainstay of what I do. I can't make it entertaining for very long because I get dialed in and I stop talking, and then it's just boring. I'm making the content that I used to criticize. So when I started streaming 10 years ago, I was extremely critical of that. I was like, I can do a better job than this person. They're just sitting in the corner not talking. And so I would play games and talk the entire time. I can't do that now. I don't have the energy to do that. If I'm playing, I get locked in, I get dialed in, and I just get quiet, you know? And I think that that's bad content, you know? It's not worth making. It's not worth doing. So, I got a 40-page script for the Tsushima video that I want to make for you guys. That's kind of the goal right now. Is to start working on longer form, higher effort content like that. So I call those Lono Vibe sessions. Yeah. And I think it's bad content. I'm going to be the most critical of my content. Like, I think that's how you improve, and I think that that's not worth our time. I think our time's better spent either in game green room, hanging out with members, longer talk shows, me cutting out and working on a big video like this Tsushima video. Yeah, I think those are the things that I should be spending my time on. You have an impressive main. Well, I appreciate that. How many words per page? I don't know. It's if I take it down to 12 Times New Roman, it's probably not as many pages, if I'm honest. Been playing Expedition 33 on the Pro, and I can't help but feel the upgrade here is almost non-existent. Was hoping it would be more pronounced. What upgrade were you expecting in that game, though? MLA format, double-spaced. Yeah, so like right now the script is 40 pages long, but I have it at like a 26 font because I'm going to read it on a teleprompter. At the size 12 font, it's 11 pages. So it's pretty good. Pretty good size. I'm going to wait for Yote to get on PC because I won't get around to it for 18 months anyway. Yeah, I mean, you might as well wait for the port. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure and hit that like button as soon as you get in to settle in. And if you want to talk in the chat, you just have to hit the subscribe button. I expect Expedition 33 on PC. Oh, you have it. And it looks like it looks just like console. You're asking for too much. Yeah, it was a pretty small team and not a project that ever really sold itself on graphics. So I'm not really sure what you were looking for in Expedition 33 on PS5 Pro. Yeah. Because for me, like whenever I'm playing like a more smaller title, like indie title or something like that, and I'm playing on the Pro, I generally think I'm going to be playing the same version that pretty much everybody else is playing, like whether it's Silk Song or like that Eric's Home and the Forgotten Dream or whatever it was called, or even when they fixed Playtale Requiem to run at 60 FPS, you know, smaller games, smaller teams, I don't expect that. There were definitely some graphical issues in Expedition 33. But I don't think that, I don't think I came to the game expecting it to be this graphical tour de force, and I did not expect the PS5 Pro to be doing anything significant with it. I just didn't. That's not what I don't get why you would expect that. Like, you're free to expect it, but there was no reason to expect it. There was never anything said about the game. There was never any showcase of the game, no trailer that said, yeah, you should expect this game to be some like graphical showcase on the Pro. For me personally, if a game is marketed or listed as being Pro enhanced, I want it to be noticeable. Flickering shadows on faces, hair popping in, camera distracted me. I mean, it is listed as PS5 Pro Enhanced, and I don't even think I knew that, because I don't think I expected that. If I was on a quiz show right now, and you didn't come in and say that, and somebody said, was Expedition 33 PS5 Pro Enhanced? I would have said no. I'd have been like, no, I don't think that it was, because I didn't expect it to be. You saying that made me literally go search. I was like, it was? Like, I didn't think that it was. It's not relative to other players, it's relative to other games. I don't want to be missing the best experience I could be having, which is a little silly, I'll admit. Sounds like an expectations issue. I don't disagree with the premise. if a game is listed as being PS5 Pro enhanced, I expect it to run well, look well, and to do a good job. I don't think they should be handing out that label, willy-nilly. But I do think certain games, my expectations are going to be vastly different. Like if Gearbox would have dropped Borderlands 4 as a PS5 Pro enhanced game, I would have expected quite a bit from it because it's a big studio, it's a big game. Expedition 33, I'd have been like, okay, maybe it'll look a little bit better, a little shinier, maybe some of the lighting will be included in the performance mode or something. Like, I wouldn't have expected that much from them because of the team and the story and what I knew that went into the game. I think the context of that game would have changed my expectations compared to like Ghosts of Yotei. I expect excellence and a high caliber of work from Sucker Punch with respect to, like, when I turn on the Pro Enhanced or the Pro whatever, the Pro Performance mode or so in Yotei, I expect excellence from them. I don't necessarily approach a game like Expedition 33 and expect, like, oh, this better blow my freaking hair back and this better really show off the power of the Pro. It's like, it's a 40-person team. I know hundreds of other people help with QA and stuff because they outsource some of the QA, but like, I don't know. That game in particular just never felt like they were selling that expectation. And I especially don't expect the same caliber of work from third-party devs. Like, if you're a third-party studio, I don't expect the same caliber of work from you as I do like a first-party studio, or even like a second-party studio like Kojima. Insomniac's never doing another Ratchet game is wild. Nobody said that. Yeah. I've been up for 5 hours, as a matter of fact, says Jack Garland. So, yeah. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead and hit the like button. If there's anything going on in gaming news, feel free to bring it up. I don't know if the chat is bugging or if we've just decided that we're moving on topics. You can bring up any topic going on at this point. We're an hour in, and we're kind of in a bit of a mixed bowl of topics right now. Yotei's still going to look great on the base PS5 when I'll eventually play it. AC Shadows update, I don't have much to say. It's DLC. I very much tapped out with that game. I was really, really enjoying AC Shadows, and then I wasn't. Then I wasn't. So, it was literally in the leak saying they were doing another Ratchet and Clank game. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything saying that they're not doing another Ratchet game. I hope that Insomniac doesn't just do Marvel games to the end of time. I miss their older catalog. AC Mirage update, AC Shadow update, AC Black Flag update. Yeah, the news on AC Black Flag is going to split the community. I'll tell you that much right now. It's going to split the community. I don't think people are going to be in agreement. I mean, I know where I'm going. I know what I think, but you're also trying to get through Shadows? No, I wasn't. That's not even remotely true. I wasn't just trying to get through Shadows. What hurt my experience was that I was doing everything. I was clearing, I was going to everything on the map. I was taking my time. I was doing that Tsushima thing. I told you guys, like, I just loved being in the world. And then I hit 32 hours and I was ready to be done. I was like, I'm ready to be done. I don't want to do this, because I realized how much more of the story I had. And I was like, I don't want to do this for another 30 hours. Because what happened to me with AC Shadows was the combat was too shallow. Like, I got in a couple of boss fights and I was like, this combat's too shallow. It was really, really fun in the early stages, but then you started getting into actual, like, lengthy boss fights. I was like, this combat kind of sucks. It's extremely basic. There's not enough to it. And then the boss fights started turning into the same thing. It just was very, very repetitious. So then I was like, well, I just would like to finish the story. I would like to know what happens. And that's when it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much story left. Like, I think I finished like the main story, and then they wanted me to investigate Templars with Yasuke and the Creed with Naue, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm so done. Like, it was just, yeah, I tapped out. It wasn't that I was trying to rush. It was like I just hit a wall in the game, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to be done. And it was the combat system's fault mainly. The other problem was they wanted Yasuke to be there to like mix things up, and I hated playing as him. It was like he was literally just like a combat simulator. Like, you could go into combat scenarios and he was really, really fun to play as. But in an Assassin's Creed game, he was terrible. It's like, I don't want to play as this guy. He can't climb, he can't sneak. I'm constantly going into environments and I'm like, oh, I need to get up there to get that thing. Can't do it. Oh man, I wish I could sneak to come behind these guys and sneak up on them and assassinate a couple of them. Can't do that. I'm a big lumbering linebacker, like just charging through. Then I just went back to Naue, and so there was an entire portion of the game I didn't want to engage with. It's like, I don't want to play as Yasuke, and I initially loved him, and then I came to loathe him. I was like, he should have his own game. He should have had his own game. I genuinely felt like he ruined the pacing of the game. It was like, it's an Assassin's Creed game, and you can't do any of the assassin stuff with him. So I ended up not wanting to play as him. I don't know. It was a very weird decision. I still don't get it. I still don't get the choice. I don't know how they greenlit it. I don't know who was in the room and thought, yeah, no, that totally makes sense in an Assassin's Creed game to have a separate playable character that can't do any of the assassin stuff. I just thought that was I don't know. The more that time has gone on, the more I'm critical of that choice. I'm like, that was a really stupid decision, because you basically gave credence to an argument that like he didn't belong in the game. And then you also made him non-conducive to Assassin's Creed gameplay. I don't know. I would have loved a game as him. I would have loved it, because I thought his combat was cool, his story was cool. But then the minute I saw something that I couldn't climb, and the minute I was in environments where I felt like hiding was the right strategy, I was like, this is stupid. Like, I don't, everything's broken about this. This doesn't make any sense. Leave and come back? What? Like, what? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to expand the audience beyond the traditional player. But again, you make the player play as Naue for like 10 hours before you even get Yasuke. So like, you introduce I'm telling you, there is so much bad about that game now that I'm thinking about it. Like, they basically acclimate you to a game that doesn't exist. They do. They acclimate you to a game that doesn't exist. They're like, here's the game, here's the mechanics, here's the things you're going to do, here's the content loop, you're Naue. And then all of a sudden they're like, and here's Yasuke. And you're like, what the heck? Where did he come from? You just had me do all these things. Sneaking, climbing, checking things off. He can't do half of these things. So you acclimate me to a game with tutorials and a content loop that he doesn't fit into. It doesn't make any sense. It's so weird. It's such a weird game. The more I've thought about it, I'm like, man, if it would have just been Naue, I probably would have felt very differently. I probably would have just kept going. I probably would have still had my criticisms of the combat. I felt the combat just had zero depth. So it just ended up being annoying. Like, boss fights just felt tedious. It was like, okay, there's no depth here. It was just dodge, 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 now it's my turn, was essentially what it turned into. Hang on a second. I gotta flag this. I don't know. Hey, these RPG games, but they keep selling, so I can just do it. I hope for something different. Yeah, I didn't mind the RPG elements of AC Black Flag at all. I thought they were fine. Zero depth combat isn't that AC's jam. I think it works when the bosses themselves also have, no real depth. I think the problem was the boss fight started to feel like, oh wow, they have this like sort of like repertoire of things they can do. I've got all these different weapons I could use, but really the combat was just very basic. Like there wasn't anything to it. So it just didn't, I don't know. It just felt very disjointed. You've been FromSoft pilled? I don't think it's that I've been FromSoft pilled. I think it's that I've played games like Sekiro and Tsushima, and when you have melee-focused combat, like even Lies of P, when you have melee-focused combat that lacks depth, repetition starts to wear thin. See, like, the combat's fine for about 30 hours. And then you're like, yeah, this, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, First Berserker Kazan is another example. Yeah. To me, it's like, okay, so imagine you're playing like a button masher. Imagine like a button masher. And you're going through and you're just kind of mashing the buttons. It's just like this really simple hack and slash. You could do that for about 10 hours probably. If it's a side scroller and there's not a lot of depth to it. Like there was tons of depth to the combat in like Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. There was tons of depth of combat in Shinobi Art of Vengeance. But if those games had no depth and it was literally just very basic hack and slash, after about 10 hours, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. With AC Shadows, that's what it felt like to me. It was like, okay, this combat system's adequate. After 30 hours, I'm over it. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was actively avoiding fights because I just didn't want to do it anymore. The stealth was more enjoyable at times anyway, the sneaking around. But in general, I thought that the combat was fine until it wasn't. It was fine until I was absolutely bored. And that's what I ran into with that game. That's how I feel about Space Marine 2. Space Marine 2's combat was great. I wouldn't have wanted to do that for more than the amount of time that I did. Shadows was a huge flop. No, it wasn't. That's objectively false. Is there any tips for better FPS on Borderlands 4? I get 30 FPS on low settings. I've got an AMD Ryzen. Your best bet's to go to YouTube to look for guides. I'm not the person to ask about that. Not FromSoft pilled. List 3 Soul games. Tsushima's not a Souls game. Sekiro's not really a Souls game either. It's a FromSoft game. So, no. Lies of P, I guess you could argue, is like Soulsborne. But like Sekiro is sort of in its own league. It's not really considered a Souls game by fans of those games. It's a FromSoft game. And Tsushima is certainly not a Souls game. First Berserker Kazan is, but if you put it on beginner the way that I put it on beginner, it was more of like an action game focused heavily on like parries and dodges. So that's a pretty eclectic sampling of melee-based games. Like Ghost of Tsushima, Sekiro, Lies of P, and First Berserker Kazan. Those are all very, very like eclectic. Like they're all very different. But I would even throw Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order in there. Like really satisfying melee-based games. Those are all like obviously taking inspiration and ideas from like a classic like Dark Souls game, but they're all very different. Tsushima's not, but the rest are. So when I go into a game like AC Shadows,
it's obviously touching on those notes, especially touching on the notes of like a Ghost of Tsushima. And the issue that I ran into was once bosses started to have more move sets, they were faster and they could do things. It was like, well, my response was basically the same every time. It was just like dodge until they're done. Like there were 2 bosses in a row that did this. This is my memory. They were doing these like red attacks or whatever. And you just dodge, 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 dodge. And then eventually it was your turn. You know, you get your perfect dodge or whatever, and now it's your turn. And I thought it was boring. It was like, I'm 30 hours in and this is the depth of what I can do. Like, all right. 30 hours into Tsushima, you're rocking multiple stances. You're rocking multiple tool sets and kits and things. Like, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do. I don't know. I just didn't feel like AC... I didn't feel like AC climbed. I feel like it plateaued really early with what I could do. And I think it just led to my boredom. So. Let me go through these really, really quickly here. I've got the stories here pulled up, and yeah. I think where Kazan shines is in the hitbox implementation, the iframes, the animation cancels. Everything about it just felt really, really tight. Like, it just felt really good as a game. Well, it sounds like Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake is not quite as close as folks thought. And it also sounds like a pretty big departure is going to take place from the original game. The Hidden One is a reliable source for all things Assassin's Creed. They've actually stopped by my show a couple of times. We're mutuals on Twitter, and they took to Twitter to outline a long list of new information that they have learned about AC Black Flag Remake. And one aspect is standing out, and it's getting the most attention. So I'm just going to start with that, okay? This is what they said. Gameplay will shift closer to RPG style of the newer Assassin's Creed games. Loot and gear stats for Edward, inventory systems, combat leaning toward the RPG style rather than the choreographed combat of the original. Now, we are seeing an obvious mixture of response to this information. Many are in agreement with me that like the combat in the old games would feel somewhat archaic in a game in the modern day that we're now in. Others are concerned this is going to be a bridge too far. It's going to hurt the game. It's not really going to be able to honor Assassin's Creed Black Flag as a remake, right? Also, if you like modern day aspects of the Assassin's Creed games, you might also be disappointed about this. It says this: the remake removes the modern day and it replaces it with more content from Edward's pirate era, a few extra hours compared to the original. So some people did not like the constant, like going back to the Animus and going back to present day. There are people that miss that element of Assassin's Creed. They feel like that is a huge aspect of the game that should be present. So I think this will also be a point of divisiveness within the community about AC Black Flag. It's also going to feature no loading screens between when you're getting off the ship and getting on the land. The map is not bigger, and there will be some cut content from the original included. There are a few other points, though, that stood out to me. Number one, it's not on the same big budget remake level as Resident Evil 2 or Silent Hill 2. It's going to be a more faithful reimagining with updates. It will use the Anvil Pipeline engine, which is the same as AC Shadows. Now, I still maintain that AC Shadows is one of the best looking games this gen on the PS5 Pro when you have ray tracing, global illumination turned on, and that performance mode. I think it's just absolutely beautiful, and that has me hopeful. Now, the first part, though, makes me wonder what they're shooting for, though. If they're not doing like a big budget remake and they're doing this thing called like a reimagining, what exactly does that mean? They're also apparently reusing some assets from Skull and Bones to help cut costs, but it won't be obvious to players. Like, you shouldn't be able,
to tell, which we'll see. But the last bit may be disappointing for fans that were waiting for this to land. The release window is currently targeting early 2026, likely March, though some sources think it could slip to late 2026. Now, it was starting to sound like this game was very close, that like AC Black Flag was like right around the corner, but with AC Shadows doing well commercially, they just dropped the DLC. The next big DLC planned is for AC Mirage. Maybe they wanted Black Flag to have some distance, to maybe kind of have its own year, because recently we heard we're like, this game is about to come out, it's very, very close at hand. There was like a company that makes like the statues, like the figurines, that basically confirmed the AC Black Flag remake was indeed real, and now we're hearing early 2026. Maybe it's going back to like it's going to the RPG style with combat and the menus, and they're going to get rid of some modern day stuff. So what do you think? Is this like a dive in day one? Like, that's what I'm going to be doing? Or is it a skip? Because there's going to be some divisive opinions about this, and I would love to know what you think. Give me a second. Goodness gracious. About halfway through that, like, I'm like recording, about halfway through that, like, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. I was like, oh my word. I'm like trying not to sneeze, trying to stay on script, and yeah. That was a fun one there. Refreshing, they're just updating with textures. I don't know. I really truly don't know what they're doing. To say it's not going to be a big budget remake, it's going to be a reimagining. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I do not know what that means. There's a new Dual Katana Yote video. All right, hang on. Let's see. RH2 Remake was not big budget. Maybe in appearance. Maybe they're not thinking about like literal money. Maybe they're thinking about like it looked like a big budget remake. Like it was one of the more praised remakes, was it not? Hang on one second. My my audio is doing that stupid delay thing. And I don't know why this happens. The only thing I can do is I like change the hertz and it like resets the sound device and then it fixes it.
Watch your back. I will take your head. Heard about it. Time for that. Foolish. Careful you do not cut yourself.
Well, that wolf is a straight up homie. That wolf is a homie. He's like there. He's there all of the time. They've said in the rapid fire interview, I've got a video where I kind of summarized everything. We may or may not upload that at some point. They said that like the wolf is basically always at hand. And I missed this one. Freddie Jackson, thank you so much. I think you did this during my little segment there about Black Flag. Hype for Yote. Just hope my little girl will give me time to complete it before she is born, so I am double hyped. Well, congrats on the baby that's on the way, and we're at 233. And the member battle is now 17-7. So the wolf is Atreus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, let's pull up the segment about the... Where is it? Yeah, I'm not going to record this, but we want to make sure and have the timestamp for the people looking for this. So let's get that out of here. Okay, so Battlefield 6 Battle Royale will reportedly release on October the 28th, 2025. Okay, so this is according to a new rumor. Modern Warzone, who has previously leaked details for gamers such as Call of Duty and Battlefield, games such as Battlefield and Call of Duty. According to the account, Battlefield 6 Battle Royale is currently planned to launch on October the 28th, 18 days after the launch of the game. As mentioned, this date is currently subject to change due to the game being presently undergoing playtesting in the Battlefield labs. However, at face value, launching so close to Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is an interesting choice. Sources: Battlefield 6 Battle Royale is currently planned to launch October 28th, 18 days after the launch of the game. The date is subject to change as always, especially with the VR currently testing in Battlefield labs, but I have heard it is the current plan for launch. So if them doing this, I mean, let's read the continued opinion here from Insider Gaming. As of this time of writing, Battlefield 6 is currently scheduled to release on October the 10th, 2025. If the rumors are true, it's a Battle Royale game by Ripple Effect launching just 18 days later. That date makes sense if they want to launch Season 1 of content with the new mode. But it's a massive risk for EA to take because Call of Duty, which launches only a few weeks later on November the 14th, that means that the Battle Royale isn't good or it's buggy or not full of content. A lot of the player base could move on. Yeah. I don't know when you're going to pull it, though, or when you're going to put it. I just don't know. I don't know. And then let's pull up the last one. All right, last story here. Vault Hunters, you unleash so much mayhem during Borderlands 4's launch weekend. You get the break free pack plus an Echo drone skin. So there's a code here. But this is what I wanted to highlight. Unfortunate ends. Deaths by not so smart moves, like 4.5 million grenades, 2 million to a barrel, 350,000 to toxic goo. Things we do for loot. Total enemies looted, 764 million, 1.5 million from outhouses. Items looted from a grill, 1.8 million. Items looted from trash cans, 487,000. Items looted from red chests, 14 million. Road trips meet road rage. Number of miles driven, 40 billion, right? Oh, no, that's 40 million, sorry. 65 million number kilometers driven, number of vehicles destroyed. So the reason I want to highlight this is, like, clearly there's an insane number of people playing. There's so much going on. And yet, as we talked about at the beginning, you know, Randy Pitcher was kind of dead set on overshadowing everything. And making it about him and making it about being like combative with people on Twitter. So very, very interesting choices from him. And can we get 5 more likes on the video to get us to 200 likes? I greatly appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for 200 likes. I think he's doing he thinks he's doing marketing for the game. FF16 you could beat by pressing one button. That's hardly engaging. I mean, but that was if you turned on all of like the easy accessibility things. Like that's significant misrepresentation of the game. You know what I mean? I don't think that represents FF16 like at all. That's like putting a game on story mode and then acting like that represents the game. The fact it was there, period, is lame. I don't agree with you. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but plenty of games have, like, story mode where, like, you literally can't die. There's plenty of games where you can just, like, button mash your way through when you put it on the easiest difficulty. That doesn't represent the game. Like, FF16's combat system is ridiculously deep. To act like it's not simply because... there's an option to make it really easy, I think is intentionally misrepresentative of the content. You know what I mean? That would be like trying to claim Elden Ring's combat system isn't deep by showing somebody with a very, very busted, broken magic summons build or something, and they go into bosses and beat them like it's nothing. You know, on New Game Plus or something. And you're like, yeah, the combat system in Elden Ring is stupid and you know, there's no depth to it. You know what I mean? Turn-based over action, that's a fact. Don't get me started on Elden Ring Dogwater. We don't need to get started on anything. Wish they would do an FF8 remake or remaster. That was my favorite one when I was a youngster. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the turn-based in Expedition 33, but I also enjoyed the action elements of FF16. I enjoyed the action elements of, you know, First Berserker Kazan. I don't think one is necessarily pitted against another. You know? Turn-based versus action. I think of old school top-down Fallout versus modern FPS. It's I think it's a matter of I think it's just a matter of preference. Like, it's fine to have preferences, like if you like one over the other. So Expedition 33 is amazing. However, I typically don't lean towards games like that. Last game I played like that was LOTR: The Third Age. You've been playing Ghost of Tsushima on PC. You're in constant awe of how beautiful the game is. Yeah, I mean, working on my script and watching the supercut, I'm always kind of struck by, like, yeah, the game itself looks very, very good. But I will say, you know, there's a pretty significant uptick in how Yote looks compared wise, like, especially if you look at the character scenes and stuff. It aged very well. Mm-hmm. Mind's Eye actor believed games flop could end his career. I mean, being attached to a bad project like that can hurt you. It can. Yeah, when are they going to give us this, though? They say they're rolling out this feature for live streams. Man, it'd be great. They're going to have the ability to stream in vertical and horizontal simultaneously, basically. I'm just checking the news feeds right now. We were very, very quickly in a sort of eclectic Rolodex of topics. Probably a little bit too early today, but it's like it's sometimes you can't control it. You can't control what people are interested in. I don't believe anybody has destroyed gaming discourse. I believe there are people that have their version of discourse and what they like to talk about, and then I think there's the rest of us. We won't see Red Dead 3 for another 20 years. Yep, probably. Yeah, I don't. The stuff around Yote is not even worth entertaining. It just isn't. Yote is going to be just fine. The average consumer is not paying any attention to this stuff. They added so much to Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I don't have time for all these games. F it, I quit. I taking up woodworking. I know. I thought about playing that today and showing it off on console. I probably should have. That's today, isn't it? It's not on PlayStation yet, though. They said for now they're only building it for... they're only building it for the Xbox because of the complexities of like doing multi-platform development. It's a really hard game. I don't actually think it's hard. I think you just have to take time and regrind areas to get stronger. Yeah, the developer specifically spoke to it. With the new gameplay out for Outer Worlds 2, has it made you more interested in it? The more I've seen of Outer Worlds 2, the less interested I am in it. Yeah. The more I've seen of Outer Worlds 2, the less interested I am in it. There is something about that intersection of RPG and shooter that I don't like. I don't know. Maybe it's why when I play Borderlands 4, I'm like, this is so fun, and I don't have to talk to anybody for very long. I don't have to pay attention to the story. I'm just like looting and shooting. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's the issue, is if like the catalyst for me getting into shooters was like me sort of like heavily getting into the shooters like Quake, Unreal Tournament, Call of Duty. Like for me, getting into shooters, that's the type of shooter that I played. So like that's what I do when I'm playing a shooter. I'm just kind of like wanting to shut my mind off and just like shoot stuff and go pew pew and have a good time. Now obviously Destiny was a mixture of both, like really cool story and really cool like looties and shooties. But the lion's share of my time spent in Destiny was just like running around shooting stuff and getting stuff. And so when I play Borderlands, I'm like, Borderlands 4 is totally delivering on that promise. The problem with a game like Outer Worlds, or like I played a ton of Fallout back in the day, I just don't want that from a game when I'm playing a shooter right now, I don't think. I don't think I generally like those types of games anyway, where there's like elaborate dialogue trees and long sections of time where I'm just like, waiting to kind of get back to the action. I just don't think I generally like those types of games. Like, if you think about the games that like I like the most, they're more centered around the action. Whether it's like, and I do like good story, like the video I'm going to make about Tsushima. Like, I love the story of Tsushima, but as I was going through that supercut to make my video, I was struck by like there are long stretches of time in Tsushima where like you don't have to watch cutscenes. Like people are like, oh, they're movie games. I mean, these people are not representing the games at all. Like there are huge sections of time in Tsushima where you are not dealing with any cutscenes. So I think I'm just more action oriented. I love a good story. Like I thought the story in Last of Us 1 and 2 was great. Story in Tsushima is great. But if I've got to like stop and talk and do the cliche like stare at an NPC thing, I don't know. My brain says no to it. You know what I mean? I remember in FF16, I would go back to town and I would button mash my way through everything unless it was particular main story beats. If it was main story beats, I was all about it. I wanted to know what was going on with certain characters. Cyberpunk, I enjoyed Phantom Liberty, but I thought Phantom Liberty was far better paced in that regard. I thought my sections where like I would interact with NPCs, they were They were concise. They were quick. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, one of my main criticisms of Cyberpunk is it takes too long to get going. I thought Phantom Liberty was like perfectly paced. It kind of got to the business at hand, and I really enjoyed it. Well, Phantom Liberty is a whole lot more action-oriented than the beginning of Cyberpunk Vanilla. I think it's just a preference thing. It's like, I don't want to sit here and do this thing where like everything comes to a stop, and I got to sit here and stare at this person and listen to them, and then pick what I'm going to say, and then listen to them. I don't know. I'm not being critical of it. I just don't think it hits me. I think I get bored. Like, really, really quickly, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And I don't feel like it's a story at that point. Like, I feel like the story in God of War 2018 and Ragnarok and the story in Last of Us 1 and 2 and the story in Tsushima, I feel like those stories are magnificent. But I'm not faced with that. I'm not faced with that rhythm of stop and just sit here. One of the things I was the most critical of in Tsushima were the missions where I had to do that, where you had to like investigate the footprints in the mud, and you're like slowly walking around looking for stuff. Like all of a sudden I'm like the Batman of the island or something. And I was always like, why am I doing this? And that was because it was more halting than the rest of the stuff in the game. Phantom Liberty has a better story than some 99% of the first-person RPGs ever created. The only exceptions might be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was totally getting me to vibe with it. I was totally vibing with it. Like, I spoke to everybody in that first town. I got, like, all the information I could. I had all these waypoints on my map. I was totally vibing with it, right? But I hit that save thing where like I went out, I got killed by some wolves, I hadn't saved it, and then I lost all my progress. And I was like, Tsushima had tons of downtime. See, but I feel like the downtime was always I feel like it was separated. Like as I was going through this supercut, it was like, okay, now it's time to watch a scene. And I felt like you just kind of sit there, you watch a scene, you kind of let things transpire, like, okay, cool. And then I kind of get back to it. Like, yeah, you'd go to towns and you go to villages and you would do the side quests, and like you couldn't skip the dialogue. Like if you were helping out, like, you know, the monk or Yuna or somebody, you know, you couldn't skip those sections. But because maybe it's because I'm just listening in those sections instead of having to like actively choose the dialogue. Maybe that's what separates it. Like when I look at Outer Worlds 2, I'm like, I don't have any interest in that game. Like it looks good, but I don't have any interest in it at all. And then when I get into a game like Yote or Tsushima, and they're like, yeah, go talk to this guy, and then I'm not doing anything, I'm just kind of like listening to the scene, I'm okay with that. I feel like there's a clear divide between like, here's your gameplay, here's your story beats, here's your gameplay, here's your story beats. And I feel like games like, you know, Fallout and Starfield and Outer Worlds, they try to interweave the story beats with gameplay, and I just don't like it. I'm like, I don't want to stand here and do this. I did it in Fallout and enjoyed it, but I was also streaming. So I keep forgetting that Lono had issues with Save Your Schnapps thing, another factor Phantom Liberty had over Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 really, really worked against me enjoying it because I was loving it. I was like, this is so cool. Everybody I'm talking to has so much personality, and they have so much to say, and they're telling me where there's stuff on the map, and I'm going to go look for this thing this person told me about. And then I decided to go explore. I got killed by some wolves, and I lost all my progress. And I was like, well, now I have to walk around town and have all those conversations again. That doesn't serve any purpose at all. I was like, I don't want to do that. That's the worst kind of deja vu. It's like, yeah, I already talked to that guy. I already chose all my dialogue options, and it didn't save. So now I've got to do it again. Like, that was a huge blow to the morale. It was like, what? I was in disbelief when it happened. Like, if you're not familiar with that system, it'll totally take your legs out. You're like, wait, what? I was like, nothing I did got saved? I talked to everybody. And I can't believe they weren't like, hey, you're about to leave town. Are you sure, you don't want to save? No, there's not an autosave. The only time it autosaves after a conversation in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is if it updates a quest. So if your quest says, go talk to Bill, and you go talk to Bill, and Bill says, oh, you need to go down to the river and talk to Susan, and your quest updates and it says, go talk to Susan, it saves it. It does not save it if you're just talking to somebody in town and they're like, yeah, there's a wagon broke down there on the south side if you want to get all the stuff from it. And then it puts the waypoint on your map and you're like, oh, I'm going to go check that out. It doesn't save. So I spent 45 minutes. I was like, I'm going to get immersed in this game. I'm going to play the game on its terms. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to try to remember everything they said. I'm going to get immersed in this world. And I was loving it. I was like, this is so cool. There's so much thought. There's so much care. There's so much density in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like, there's so much density. Well, I did all that, and then I ventured out. And it didn't warn me, hey, you haven't saved it yet. It's really interesting. Like, every element of that game has a pretty significant tutorial. It, like, pops up and explains the dialogue. It'll pop up and explain how to do, the crafting of the potions. Like, there's these significant tutorials. I'm really surprised they don't have one for, like, hey, you're about to leave town and you haven't saved it yet. Like, alert the player, like, all of your progress is in jeopardy right now. You slip off of a cliffside or you get jumped by some bandits and you're going to lose everything that you just did. As soon as I die and lose progress because I can't get manual save, I just stop playing. It made it really, really hard for me to want to keep going back. Yeah. And I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a magnificent game. It's really, really well built. I just am like, man, I don't have that kind of time, brother. I really, really don't. I need to be able to kind of roll credits on a game in about 30 to 35 hours, and that game is not going to let you do that, which is perfectly fine. That's not a criticism. That's just a personal preference thing. It's like, I just don't have the time for that, I was able to roll credits on Shinobi and Death Stranding 2 and Death Stranding 1 and First Berserker Kazan. I'm working on Borderlands right now. Like, there are plenty of games that I've enjoyed and have kind of gotten addicted to. Like, I could not stop playing Shinobi. I was really loving First Berserker, but a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it's like I could live in this game for 100 hours, but it would be literally the only thing that I play. Now, that's an immense amount of value. That's great work by the developers. I am not at a point in my life where I can do that. I just can't. I cannot live in a game for 100 hours. It just isn't possible. You can manual save. You just need the potion to do it. The ingredients for the potion are the reason to engage the crafting system. Yes. Yeah. As soon as I get into the 25th hour of a game, I'm ready to be kind of landing the plane. Now, certain games, that's not true. That's not going to be true of Yote. That's not going to be true of Borderlands. That certainly hasn't been true of Returnal. I'm at like 103 hours or something. But certain games, like what happened to me with AC Shadows, I got to 30 hours and I'm like, brother, I'm done. I have played enough of this. I don't want to play any more of this. I don't think the content loop is enjoyable enough to repeat for another 20 hours. I couldn't do it. So I would have loved to have. You could do the same thing with AC Shadows. I think Zubair did it. You could just live in AC Shadows for 100 hours. Easy. You could easily live in that game for 100 hours without even trying, because there's just so much to do. At some point, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gets way more of a normal game when you get more skilled in the stuff to do. Oh, yeah, there's a tipping point in the game where people say, like, you're so wealthy and you have so much stuff that a lot of the earlier rough pain points of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, a lot of those fade. Yes, a lot of those fade with time because you just end up having enough resources and enough money and enough strength that it's not as difficult to kind of navigate the world. You have 127 hours in AC Shadows. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you could do so much in AC Shadows, for sure. How far are you in Borderlands 4? I couldn't tell you. I've got 16 hours on PC, and on my PlayStation, I have 12 hours. So between the two platforms, I have almost 30 hours of game time, like 28 hours or something like that. And I'm barely scratching the surface. I'm barely scratching the surface of these of either game. On either system, I should say. So give me a quick second. I need to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Is AC Shadows adding more stuff to earn the Animus Pass thing? I don't know if they've said anything about it. I've not seen. Was able to copy my Steam save over to the Xbox version, which is nice. Oh, so you got like tons of achievements and stuff? Yeah, because like Deep Rock, for me, on PC, Deep Rock Survivor, I played 16 hours. I've got like 20 of the achievements as well. GTA 6 delay or no delay? I don't know. Yeah, it's on Game Pass, yeah. 1.0 launched today, yeah. Yeah. I probably should have thought to have it ready to go and like showed it off, but like it's 1.0 hit, and it's I believe it's playable right now on Xbox. Yote dropped a new gameplay vid 40 minutes ago. Is it not the one that we watched? The dual katana? Yeah, we watched that one. I'm calling it at the end. We're forced to fight our wolf. Okay, so if you want me to make like I'll make some speculation about Yote's story. This is what I think they're gonna do to add depth to the story. I think she is going to realize that what happened to her family was an act of vengeance and revenge. So I think she's going to learn about the cycle. Like, I don't think it's going to be like cycle of violence super, super adjacent to like The Last of Us, but I think it's going to be very similar. That's what I think is going to happen. I think her journey, she's going to realize maybe her father started the cycle, and so she's perpetuating the cycle. Like, it's not like these guys just showed up and decided, well, we hate you and we're evil, you're dead. Like, so to contrast it against the story of Tsushima, the story of Tsushima is using a very undeniable force of destruction. The Mongols are there. Khotan Khan is ruthless. He believes in, you know, his goal is to be remembered. He wants an empire, and he'll get there through, you know, any means necessary, through killing, pillaging, and the like. You know, he studied the ways of the samurai in order to beat them. Like, he uses their honor against them, basically. So the journey in Tsushima is more about Jin's journey in coming to grips with, like, what is his view of honor. Okay? That's what my video is going to be about, essentially. Like, that's what the story is about. The story is not really about, like, the Mongols are sort of like a subtext, honestly, to the actual story. The actual story is about Jin Sakai. Okay? Now, in Yote, I think what's going to happen with Yote is, I think Atsu is going to have to come to the grips with the fact that, like, what happened to her family was a cycle of vengeance and revenge that was set in motion long before she was even born. And she will come to the realization that she's doing the same thing. That's what I think her spiritual journey is going to be. I would hate that. I wasn't a fan of that in Tilu 2 either. Spend the whole time hunting them down for revenge, then just letting them go at the end. I'm not going to defend The Last of Us to anybody. I think that's a waste of time. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I don't think people to completely misunderstand what that story is supposed to be about and to be like dissatisfied that at the end you don't kill the person. I just think there's no reason for us to discuss the game story. If that's where you're coming from, that'd be a waste of our time. So I think Atsu is going to kill the Yote 6. I think she's going to. But I think along the way, there are going to be people that speak to her about her journey, and they're going to be basically illuminating to her that, are you really any different? If you're continuing the cycle, who is in the right and who is in the wrong then? You know, your family was murdered and killed, but if it was an act of vengeance that was set in motion before you were even born, and now you're doing the same thing, like, I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's going to be her journey and her story in seeing that vengeance is not... I think if there was a contrast of honor in Tsushima, they contrasted views of honor, which is what my long-form video is going to be about. I think Yote is going to contrast vengeance against justice. That's what I think the themes of Yote will be. It is this justice or is it vengeance? What is the difference? Can you thread that line, and can you establish why what you're doing is different? Kind of the story beats of Blue-Eyed Samurai. I don't know the story beats of Blue-Eyed Samurai. If she kills them from killing others, I think it's justified. Again, I think her own internal journey and turmoil and spiritual, transformation will be entertaining those big subjects. That's what I think the story is ultimately going to be about. If all Ghost of Yote is you killed my family, I'm coming for you. If it's just Kill Bill, if it's just John Wick with a sword, like that's we've played and heard that story 10 times over. That's not that interesting. Does that make sense? Like, revenge stories are fine, but like, that's not new. But there needs to be more to it than that. Like, Tsushima is not just Chosen One. It's not just Chosen One archetype. It's not just, Jin's the Chosen One. He's the ghost. He liberates the island. No. There is so much more to the story that I'm going to illuminate for you guys in this video that I'm working on. There's so much more to it than that. I have a similar take to Lono. As I speculated this on Twitter months ago, I think Lono is right. They literally said that the beginning... Somebody left me a really good comment about this. They literally said that the game starts out about revenge, but it doesn't really stay there. Hang on a second. Sucker Punch said there's more to the story than revenge back when they announced the release date. They directly said, quote, while Atsu's story begins with vengeance, she'll find there's more to her journey than just revenge. They also said, quote, Atsu will meet unlikely allies and forge connections that help give her a new sense of purpose in that same blog post. I do not think it's an accident that her companion is a wolf. I don't think it's an accident. Right? What is this? Oh, that's not for me. I don't think it's an accident. Because I think what they're going to establish is, are you just like this wolf? Like, are you just an animal? Are you just a predator? Built to kill? Like, I do. I think her wolf companion is there for a reason. I think it's meant to be a mirror so that she'll see herself in the violence of the wolf, in the indiscriminate killing of the wolf, that like, well, I'm not a wolf. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think there's going to be elements to that. I think there's a reason that she has a wolf companion. Like, she's not an animal. She's not just something made to be a predator. She's not just something made to be killing. So she's out for revenge, but falls in love and has a wolf friend. No, I don't think she's gonna fall in love. No. Yeah, that's just kind of some of my speculation about it. Because obviously I was a little concerned, you know, when we started seeing, you know, some of the elements of the game. And hearing it was going to be about revenge, and hearing it was going to be, you know, she's going to go kill these 6, especially coming out of, coming out of the AC Shadows story, I especially felt concern. I was like, I don't know, like, are we gonna play the exact same story? Like, is that what we're doing? She becomes the ghost. That's actually an interesting thought, Deuterino. Jin becomes the ghost. In what way will she become the ghost of Yote? Right? Will she ascend beyond this revenge story and see there are bigger things at play than your own personal vendetta? I was reading something, Joker Quinn. Like, I was trying to set something, so like I interrupted my own train of thought. Like, she can't just be, because if she's just Atsu, I'm going to kill the Yote 6. Oh, okay. But if she grapples with vengeance is not as important as justice. And if justice becomes important to her, and her journey in killing the Yote 6 is a catalyst to her thinking more broadly about justice, she becomes the ghost of Yote. She becomes a legend that, you know, like he says in The Usual Suspects, right? Kaiser Soze was a legend that you told your kids, don't be bad or Kaiser Soze will come get you in the night. She'll become a legend on the island. She'll become, don't do wrong. Ghost of Yote will show up at your door. Wolves are symbolic in that they can hunt solo but are more effective in packs. Maybe the story is about building a new wolf pack of people wronged by tyranny. Well, that's what she does in the one menu. She builds a wolf pack. Yeah, there's literally a menu where you're like building your wolf pack and you're forming, as it said, you know, as the one person said on my comment section, she's going to form like unlikely allies with people. If that's the case, then I would say, okay, like what you're saying, she's going to learn through these alliances that she forms. You're making this all about you. There is something bigger at play here than you. You aren't the only person that these Yote 6 hurt. So maybe it's not cycle of violence as much as it is the grappling with, you know, elevating her purpose above vengeance and making it about justice. That's what I thought was so good about Tsushima, was the legend stories throughout the game. It's all just uncovering these legends. What are the legends going to be? Yeah, I don't know. According to the rapid fire interview, Jin will be referenced, but I don't think they basically said nothing. Nothing from nothing that takes place in Tsushima is going to be referenced. Like, oh, you remember when the Mongols invaded Tsushima? Like, they're not going to reference like the story elements of Tsushima. I like the idea of her being the Kaiser Soze of Yote. I mean, that's what happens with Jin. He becomes this legend that, like, you're hearing of this ghost that's, like, just brutal. He's coming in and taking people out. And it strikes fear. It strikes fear in the Mongols. They fear him. They fear him at a certain point. Like, there's reports, there's rumors, there's whispers. You know. Yeah, isn't that what she's going to become basically? Like, it's a what's that called? On how do you even pronounce it? A type of ghost believed capable of causing harm. A vengeful spirit. They're usually depicted as a wronged woman who are traumatized, envious, disappointed, bitter, or just infuriated by what happened. These ghosts appear vengeful, ruthless, heartless, brutal, cruel, deranged, egotistical, selfish, bloodthirsty, and cold-hearted. Is it pronounced Ani? Or Anyo? How do you pronounce it, I wonder? Onryo Vengeful? Onryo? Let's see what this guy says.
From Japanese mythology, as well as how to say more vocabulary from Japanese that many mispronounce, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel for reference. In Japanese it is said as Onryo, Onryo,
Onryo. So Onryo. Like, if you try to say it with like the actual like rolling Onryo, but Onryo is how we would say it, like phonetically. Yeah, Onryo. So is that what she's supposed to embody? Like, is that what people are going to be, you know, scared of, basically? There's a port city in Japan named Sakai. I think it's a quiet reference to Jin's legacy. Well, he came from Clan Sakai. The question would be, wouldn't the name Sakai be seen as dishonored because of the story and what the Shogun pronounced? I don't know if they would have a reason to like honor the name of Sakai. I just don't know. The people would, right? Citizens and people would have reverence for him, but you know, the Shogun wouldn't. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe history was kinder to him. It'll be interesting. We'll know very soon. It's very close. It's almost here. There could be a fantastical elements to Yote. What do you mean? They did some dreamy fantasy stuff in Ikishima, but it was like drug induced. It wasn't real, like spirits and stuff. Yeah, they danced on the line. It was the drugs though. Like I don't think you were ever meant to like end a section in Tsushima DLC and think that like, oh, there's mystical things happening. I think it was all meant to be viewed through like he was tripping on drugs, but it enabled him to kind of like, it enabled him to sort of like lay things down about his dad and stuff. Like his story comes to a close with that DLC. You could also basically teleport while you fought. Yeah, I mean, there's video gamification, but the game was also grounded in reality. Like, it wasn't, like, fantastical or, like, mythical. She's going to end up being a descendant of Jin? I don't think so. That would be... I don't think there'd be a reason to do that. I think it makes way more sense to separate, to have, like, clean breaks. Instead of being like, oh, she's the long-lost granddaughter of Jin Sakai. I think that would be kind of corny, honestly. I think they're going to reference him, but I don't think they're going to make him a significant element of, like, the story. I believe he will be referenced, because, again, the rapid-fire interview that they did, they made it clear that there'll be references, and then, you know... That was pretty much it. That they wouldn't make references to, like, things that actually took place or things that actually happened. They're not going to reference the Mongols invading Tsushima. They're probably not going to reference even the island of Tsushima. They're going to reference the ghost of Tsushima, maybe. From the way the interview went, he seemed to, like, wink and nod that there'll be references to Jin, but nothing that takes place in Ghost of Tsushima will be referenced. I think he'll be referenced as a character, as a myth, as a legend. I liked your idea that he should be like an Easter egg. Like, you talk to a random NPC, and they talk about the ghost. Yeah. Some really, really old person should tell you a story, you know, about it. 300-year plus gap between Atsu and Jin. I think we see Jin as a legendary tale, but anything beyond that would be corny. I tend to agree. Jin was the lone wolf. Atsu is going to have a wolf as a friend. No, but he wasn't a lone wolf. The entire premise of the game is he gathers support and allies. Like, I don't necessarily... think that's accurate to the story and what transpires. He's by himself for a significant portion of the game, but the crux of your victory comes from him getting people to help and them all attacking at the same time. So in a similar fashion, Atsu is going to be, you know, forming a wolf pack. So... Easter eggs and references, but it doesn't become homework. Yeah. He will be referred to as the ghost and not Jin Sakai. I think that's I think that's also true. I think the music is off. Oh, the music is off. Thank you. Yeah, I turned it off because we were listening to that pronunciation. I forgot to turn it back on again because I don't have my headphones on. Usually when I have my headphones on, I'm like, oop, music's not on. His real name will likely be forgotten. After I'm done with my video and you guys watch my video about Tsushima, yeah, there's a lot of evidence to believe that that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence to believe that that's true. That his name will be forgotten. Yeah. I mean, during fights, he fought alone. During duels, he fought alone. But what you're saying is not true. During some of the most major moments of that game, he is not fighting alone. He has people fighting alongside of him. He gets an entire clan to help. He fights alongside of his uncle. He fights alongside Yuna. He fights alongside Ishikawa. He's very commonly not alone. Which, Ishikawa, if you play the game with the English voice actors, it is the guy from Lost. I thought that was really cool. The guy from the instructional videos. This guy voices Ishikawa. Because I played the game with the Japanese voice acting, so I had no idea. That guy plays Jin. No. This guy plays the guy with the bow. The older guy, the bald guy with the bow. He's the voice actor. Yeah. For Ishikawa. Ishikawa's one of the cooler characters in the game. Yeah. I was like, I know that voice. I have heard that voice before. Yeah, the voice acting is actually totally fine. Like, the English voice actors did a very good job. I just preferred the Japanese. It just feels so much more intense. You know, when Jin, like, approaches a group of people and he's like, and he, like, just says something. It sounds, like, so powerful. And then when it's English, he's like, face me. And you're like... It doesn't have... I'm telling you, it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. I platinum the game, I think I did. Yeah. Dosho! That's right. Yeah, I mean, I just rewatched a supercut of it, PL, for my video that I'm working on. And yeah, you're not wrong that he's alone a lot of the times, but the premise of the story is that he's not alone. He garners a whole lot of support and people that back him, which I think is a huge element of what happens. You know, Ishikawa and Yuna and the monk and this entire clan that, like, basically help him fight. So that without their help, he would not have been able to do it. He would not have been able to defeat the Mongols. His status as legend is why he was able to garner the support. Like, does that make sense? If he would have just been like a roaming samurai, maybe people would have helped him. But because he becomes something mythological, he garners like unwavering support, and that's how he defeats Khotan Khan, because he becomes so much more. Doesn't the second act end with their base being attacked? I think so. Like, they built this large resistance. Yeah. And when you take over encampments, people show up, and like, yeah, you've got like people on your side, like on your quote unquote team. 100%. You do. So. Ooh. Speaking of which, my script on this Ghost of Tsushima thing is done. And I basically need to put a lot of work into it. I need to record it, and it's going to take me a bit of time. And so I am going to do that now. I do have a very quick video for you guys, though, about Venom that I'm going to send you over to. It's a very quick, like, 5-minute video. So I'm going to send you guys over to this video, and that is super, super helpful to me. When the news is kind of slow like this, we get way off rails, and it's not good for us to just keep going. It's very counterproductive to be doing that. Premiere and done. Yes, because I do have a short day today. I don't have as much time in the afternoon, so I need to get cracking on this video. We're trying to balance. We really, really are. Like, I'm one guy, and I got one person that works for me. I'm trying to do lots of live, but I also really need to do these high effort uploads, because if we don't, I think we're just going to kind of keep staying sort of stuck in a holding pattern.
This is a huge element of what we're doing, and plus, it leads to you guys getting more great content. So that's the goal. There's a link in chat, both Twitch and YouTube. Please click the link. Go watch this really short video to end the day. It's about Venom. And thanks so much for all you guys do. I'll see you guys over there on the video.